Welcome back to another R-TAC and Daughters, and that is a FDE case, and we got a 17 round and a 19 round extended Glock magazines and FDE, and that means it's review time for the Glock 19X, which I was picked up today. So we're going to go with the Army's almost new pistol. Many of you out there will say the Army should have went with the Glock, and I must say, I think they should have went with a Glock, but this is not the Glock they should have went with. It did not meet what they wanted, and that's why it lost out. Of course, this is the civilian ones that they've sold 100,000 plus of in the first 6 months of its release, and this is one of those first 100,000 that was bought. Let's see, we're gonna go with the interchangeable grip modules here, which is what they said would give it modularity. Yes and no. It definitely fits your grip, your hand better. It could. It depends on your hands. I got a Gen 4 17, so these do work. I prefer it without it. I just wish that it would have had a longer beaver tail like these do here, but with this grip, because this really fits my hands. Good. I like the, this is a Gen 5, by the way, if you haven't noticed. It's only got 2 pins, so this is a Gen 5. It has steel sights instead of the plastic Glock ones. Let's get rid of our presentation thing there. Standard Glock 17 frame with the infamous pull out there, or that little tip. Now I've seen people cut those off. I'm not, because this is a Glock 17. You got your lanyard loop there. Pretty good grip texturing on here. I like it. It is ambidextrous slide release only, of course, because it's got the Glock safe action safeties, all 3 of them. If you didn't know that about Glock pistols, it is got your Picatinny rail there with 1 slot, your serial number, your barrel, your that blah blah blah, you know, all that, and it comes factory with the 3 magazines, FDE magazines, which you can buy now, the 17 rounders, Gen 5, of course, with the floor plates for the +2 to give you 19 rounds plus 1 in the chamber. We'll give you a total of 20. That's a lot of rounds, a 9mm going downrange. Standard Glock mags, other than they're in FDE. FYI, if you did not know this is a Glock pistol. Also, standard with Glock, this is a Glock 17 frame with a 19 slide. I think we're all aware of that by now, with all the reviews that's been done on this. I know I'm kind of late to the party, but I just got one. So, again, we're not sponsored by anybody, and we'll give you your honest opinion. Like any Glock, it shoots like a Glock, it acts like a Glock, it's a Glock. Shoots fine, shoots well, I like it a lot. Magazine course release is ambidextrous, you just got to swap it to the other side. No big deal there. Again, get your 19X. Got that special Cerakote, whatever they're calling it, there on the top. You'll see some how it is in the side here. It is dirty, it hasn't been cleaned yet after being shot. And I just realized I don't have my light on. So anyway, there you go, good see the good sides there. Oh, if it'll focus. You got your black dark plate there. I will eventually change that out to one more of the same color of the pistol. I might even do the slide release and the magazine spring. Who knows? But that's all change. Also, if you didn't know this, this is the only factory Glock pistol that comes with maritime cups for the striker channel, so it doesn't get hydrolocked. If you didn't know that, this Glock 19 is the only one that does that. It is the first of the Gen 5s. Now, let's talk about the reasons why this pistol failed. It don't have the frame modularity as the SIG P320. Glock was hoping that this would fill the gap, and it does somewhat. I mean, if you got one of these or not, it's going to help. Of course, the 19 is not a full-size pistol. It is a full-size frame on a Glock 19, or full-size handle, or as you can see, and a Glock 19 length, basically. So this will take your Glock 17 magazines. It will not take your Glock 19 mags, but it will take the standard 17 mags, Gen 1 through 4. The only difference it makes is if you got your magazine release swapped to the other side, then you're going to have to use the Gen 5 mags, and these are what Gen 5 mags are. They have the release and catch on both sides of the mags. So the good thing about Gen 5 mags is that they are compatible with all previous Glock models. So you can use this Gen 5 mag and a Gen 1, a Gen 2 and Gen 3, as long as you got it set up for a right-handed shooter on the slide release. I should say, well, no, it doesn't really matter on those because it's got both. So if you're right-handed, you can use the, or if you're right-handed and you can use the Glock 5 mags all the way back to Gen 1. Or any Generation 5 mag for that instance on the 19X or on the 17. If you're left-handed, then you have to use Gen 5 mags, and you have to swap the magazine release to the other side of the pistola. So that's the deal there. Got the lanyard deal there. Back in days, I really don't understand. You can see why they stuck that on there as a magazine protection, I guess. If you take the flat base 17 rounder and stick it here, of course this gun is empty. It fits flush and it does give it some protection. And you still got enough there if you got to rip a strip of mag out. So let's see how it's got positive magazine release. Doesn't pop out of there like most of them do, but it'll fall out with gravity. So, of course, then again, the slide wasn't back, was it? So that right there was, to me, is just stupid. They should have never put that on there. What are their reasonings why? Just didn't make sense. I think for the modularity part, and I'll probably try this later, they could have just had a Glock 17 slide come with it, per se. So that way you'll have a gun and you'll have two slide options for the 19 and for the 19X and the 17. You could call it 17X. Now the gun that I think would have been worked better if you could have used both slides, and if you could have had some type of overhang like on the 1911s and like the SIGs got. That would have required a different slide redesign. But to go into more details on this pistol, this is why I think that was one of the reasons there. Well, let's start with the reasons why I think this gun did not pass the Army. It really wasn't fully modular to the Army's requirements, and that was part of the big deal. And then Glock later on made a civilian version of this, if you didn't know, and that would be the Glock 45, and that was for police civilian sales. And I think that would have been a better pistol to put in the trials, but that was after, day late, dollar short type deal. And then Glock sometimes seems to be or very slow to change, and late to the party in a lot of times. So the gun they should have introduced, I think, they could have had a 19 and a 17, and just sell them like that. See what you can do with slide interchangeability. The handle part was great. Should have got rid of this stupid thing here. Ambidextrous part is great. Should have put front cocking serrations on the front of it, and made it an MOS version with suppressor height sights and a Glock factory threaded barrel on both pistols. Now, with that being said, I think they would have won. Now, the Army always goes for the lowest bidding contract. We know that. That's who always wins, especially to the military. It's got, steel sights. They should have put suppressor height night sights on it, along with MOS slide, and offered it for $450 per unit, and they would have racked up untold amount of Army sales with that. And the Marine Corps would have adopted it, the Coast Guard, the Air Force, and the Navy, of course, all would have adopted them, because that's what's happening now with the SIGs. And we would have had in my opinion, a more reliable pistol. I have a SIG 320, and I like it. I love the fact that it has I got the X frame on it now, and it's a full size. So, and yes, with that you could put that long slide on a subcompact frame if you wanted to, and that's something I'll do later on for everybody, just to show that it can be done. Yeah, if the Glocks could, or at least use this frame on that, they would have done those changes. I think they would have made it, at least did an MOS slide with suppressor height sights, threaded barrels. You could have got the extra length. You could have had, you could kept the 19 slide and just gave an extra barrel for it with the threaded barrel in. So you can take the 19 and put a 17 or even just a 19 threaded barrel in it and get the extra half an inch or in it, and accomplish the same thing that the SIG was doing with the 17, with the M17 and M18 P320s that they submitted. So that's just my figure. Of course, that's Sunday, the day after quarterbacking, armchair quarterbacking thing. So anyway, 4th of July is coming up. This gun did compete in it. The F&N 509 competed in it, and it looks like the Army made a good choice on not going with the F&N with their firing pin issues that we're seeing now. The Glock 19X sold almost the exact same number of pistols in the first 6 months that the Army contract was going to be. So I think the Army contract was around 250,000 pistols. In 6 months, Glock sold 100,000 of these at $600 a pop. Now, if you want to bust out the old calculator here, and let's just be a smartass, so you got $600 times 100,000. Okay, and that's how much money Glock made in 6 months. $100,000 pistols in 6 months. Count the zeros. That's 60 million bucks in 6 months. on a pistol they have already had in that had virtually no R&D in it whatsoever. It was going to be the next model in the Glock series anyway, as the Gen 5. And it's a 19 with a 17 frame. Imagine that. Glock raked in millions of dollars off of this. Now, I don't know what their total sales are. Have they equaled the Army's $258 million contract? Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then some. They've raked in on it. Because then they're going to sell magazines. Here's something that you're not going to get out of SIG. You're not going to get your 17-round magazine fit all your previous model guns. And you're not going to be able to buy aftermarket ones that fit your new your new 320. They could have went aftermarket on magazines and saved a buttload. But we know they don't really do that for, reliability issues, even though there's some P mags. There's Glock mags out there, P mags. There's KCI, which has gotten a lot better. If you don't believe about the KCI mags getting better, go look at my KCI mag review. I had one that the floor plate blew out on, which was a floor plate issue only. I sent it back. They sent me a brand new one. Postage paid both ways on their part. Didn't cost me a thing. And they gave me a 30-round magazine to test out, which I've had some of their other ones. Worked 100% on both of them. And it takes the standard Glock base plates, so you can do the 2+ on there. Now, I just wish Glock would sell the base plates here in FDE, so you can take your 17-rounder and stick it up, and add 2 rounds to it. But you can get the black ones from Glock and make them 19-rounders instead of 17-rounders. Plus, Glock makes a 22 and a 24-round magazine, roughly the same size. Again, you're looking at $25 to $28. Depending on where you're buying your Glock mags. If you buy these, I think they're around that price. SIG, well, you figure with that Army contract with 200,000 pistols that their mag prices would drop down. No, you're still paying $45 for SIG mags for your P320, which is just ridiculous. With the number that they're making, they could sell a lot more mags if they would lower the price to comparable Glock mag prices. Just a thing there to think about there, SIG. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing SIG on everything. They know how to make money just like everybody else. They're here to make money. So what do you get with this? You don't get the manual safety that the Army has, and that's really the only difference on this, and I think maybe the controls on it, on the original pistol 19X for the Army trials, were all Cerakoted. Of course, you get the different colored box, which is a big deal because they don't do that ever, except for this pistol only. Of course, now Glock makes the 17 and gray and FDE and green. You've seen my review on my 43. I got a 43 that has a green frame, and my 17 that has a tan frame. And basically, I bought my 17 because of this pistol here. So let's get to the reset. Let's do your slide release. Notice that it's beveled at the end there. Got a little bit of the sight. Let's go listen to the reset. Right there. Typical Glock. Go to pull it right there at the wall. Boom. 5-pound trigger pull. 5.5. Give or take. Of course, the more you pull the trigger, the more you fire your Glock, the trigger will work itself in, it'll polish itself on its own, and it'll break in, and it'll get down to right around 4.5. Well, 4.5 really, not 4, but 5 to 4.5 in that range. Once you shoot a couple thousand rounds out of it, and you get it broke in real good. I do like the color of the slides, more like a copper tone to it. It is definitely the same color as my Glock 17 frame-wise. It's not really the first Gen 5 pistol I got. A lot of you may not be aware of, but the Glock 43 was actually the first Gen 5 pistol that was introduced. And then it went back to 2 pins versus the 3 pins. So it's a Glock. It was the effort that Glock put in this to the Army trials was a C plus. If you're going to grade it, it wasn't the A that SIG came out with, and it's truly a shame because I feel that Glock could have offered these pistols at a better price, and with what they already had and what they could have done at the factory wise by doing the MOS slide, suppressor height sights, and the threaded barrel with already the grip adjustment slack, or oh hell, I can't remember what they call these now. Anyway, the grip additional grip panels. They could have done that and been really competitive, a lot more than what they were. They could have just offered 19 with the extended barrel, with a threaded barrel in each kit, and still come out and beat SIG to it. And then, of course, then we'd be talking about SIG, the P320 in this way too. But everybody has their own opinion. That's my own opinion on this. It's a Glock. I mean, I can't say more than that other than it's just a Glock, and it's a special Glock. Definitely will possibly could be a collector's item in the future. We're talking, well, you know, California can't have them, so it's definitely highly sought out in California, so they can't have them. So, haha, that's what you get for not living in a free state. And if you can get out of your oppressive communist state, I would. Just don't bring your communist, socialist, democratic ideas to the rest of us free states. And just remember why California sucks so much is because of their politics, because they only have one party there. And, like they say about the party, if you don't join, you're a racist and a homophobic and xenophobic, because that's the way the Democrats operate now, identity politics. So let's get off of them. So anyway, this is not my 4th of July video. I will do one. Going to do a couple fun videos coming up this week. Hopefully, if my new magazines show up tomorrow, then I'll be able to do my 4th of July video on the 4th of July. If not, I'll have to do it on Friday. And it'll be fun, and then that'll push the other fun video back to the weekend. So basically, we're going to look at our USA mags, 4th of July magazine party, I guess that's what we'll call it. And then we'll go to the Infinity AR mags next after that. So anyway, here we go. The Glock 19X. The almost new official Army M17 pistol. Close but no cigar. Still sold pretty well, so it's a winner for Glock. Either way you say, because again, the Army didn't pick it up. Civilian world picked it up in 6 months. They sold 100,000 copies, made $60 million for Glock, and made a lot of people happy. I'm glad I got one. Again, it is fun. A fun gun. And just because some of you guys saw it here, my niece got me this Trump Senate candle. Make America smell great again. It's got a little Trump hair thing on there. And, of course, I've been using it. It kind of smells like a pumpkin, apple, cinnamon. I got this a couple years ago. Trump Senate candle. Massive landslide victory in Electoral College. Even though it really wasn't a massive Electoral College. They kind of make it. Obviously, this was a to make fun of El Presidente. So that's why my niece got it for me. She was a Bernie supporter, and that's fine. At least she didn't vote for Hillary. So there you go. So make fun of El Presidente all you want. We got the candle here. So, and I got it at work. So everybody comes into my office can see my Hope and Trump candle. Candle. So anyway, back to the Glock 19X. I need another 9mm pistol like I need another hole in my head. I need more hands so I can hold all my guns at the same time. Anyway, not a lot more to say other than it comes with 3 mags. You got your 2 19 rounds and your 17. Your grip panels that you can swap out. The lanyard and this little booger there. I guess Glock's got a thing for dinguses. They got them in the trigger. And then on the 19X, they got it on the magazine well. It is beveled out more, if you didn't notice that. It is slightly, you can see right here, where it is beveled out more. So that's for ease of course, magazine insertions. This does fit in my hand pretty good. I really don't have to put an extended release on here because it feels good on my thumb. It feels like I got an extended release on there. Obviously, it's probably an SS frame right here to there because it is smaller. It feels good. You get your pen there. Of course, that's where you put your grip. No, but it's got good grip. I like it. It feels comfortable. I can operate everything within reason. Glad they got rid of the finger grooves. I'm not a big fan of that, even though my Gen 3 21 and my Gen 4 17 both have them. My 43 doesn't, but of course that's a Gen 5, so they got rid of. That's good. It seems like the undercut right here for your middle finger, it seems to be a little bit deeper. Feels good. So there you go, Glock 19. Remember, like and subscribe. I believe this has been our longest video because it's almost 30 minutes and I've been rambling on. So we'll see you guys later on for the next 2 fun videos. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel on Facebook and on Instagram. And we'll see you guys later.